Okay, my name is Eugenio Rodan. I'm working for Salesforce. I'm lead solution engineer. So somebody knows what is a lead solution engineer in Salesforce does? No? No one? Okay. My boss said that we are making the art of possible. That's a beautiful way to say that we are selling smoke. But no. Jokes apart, we are the team that getting the requirement for the customer in a pre-sale stage and doing this requirement to map into the platform and doing the demos. So we do the demo to the customer in order to engage them to buy our license. And then partners like you and customers like you, we enjoy the other part. So we are a pretty interesting piece because depending on the smoke that we sell, the implementation can be affordable or not. So I enjoyed a lot that part of my job. Okay, so today we're going to talk about beautiful stuff. I'm sure that some people just come here to see Mulesoft in action that maybe nobody see. But Mulesoft will be a piece of my demo. I'm not Mulesoft expert. I'm certified technical architect, but even the CTA don't know everything. So Mulesoft is a huge platform for just not ESB. If I call ESB, some of my Mulesoft coworker try to hit me in my face, because it's much more like that. It's API-like connectivity, it's amplification. But we will see today just a little bit piece, but more important, how we can connect all that. So first of all, we need to understand a little bit basic about platform events and what is chain data capture. Okay, but will be the basis of my demo about how we can generate that events into Salesforce. So then we go to present a little bit of Mulesoft in the PowerPoint. We go to do a good gin tonic, mixing the chain data capture and Anypoint Platform. Anypoint Platform and Mulesoft is the same. Okay, Mulesoft is the brand and Anypoint Platform is the product. Okay, but I can refer both with the same word. It's the same stuff. I'm going to do the demo, real life, real stuff from scratch. No trick. Hope this work. We have a small Q&A if someone understands something that I show. Okay. So go to the basics. So let me tell a history. It's depending if you're a customer or partner, maybe you was part of that one day. When Salesforce has come, like a lead solution engineer, I go to the customer first time, there's no Salesforce in the account, and I sell Salesforce, a beautiful Sales Cloud with Service Cloud, maybe a little bit of platform, a little bit of Marketing Cloud, a good deal. And we start to implement in that customer. So the first year, all is beautiful. The sky is so blue, and we only need to connect Salesforce with ACP for a little bit integration about account and items. And we need to connect Heroku for a data lake point of view for archiving, for example. Okay, so there's 4 months of implementation, 2 months if nobody can perform that. And that means that we have beautiful stuff for implementation. But well, the second year, the CTO comes, say, well, we want to move to Amazon Web Service because we need to go to power the cloud. So different apps that we have in the system, now we will move to Amazon Web Service. And as well, we need to implement information for our Oracle database that are for human resources. And I think to perform different connections and making it a little bit messy. So the sky is not so blue at that point. And, well, you're still in the account 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and you find something like this. Okay, so that's really not good stuff. So we call this an spaghetti structure, okay, because it's lines point to point every time. The only thing that you can expect here is to count the day that when you leave the company, because you want to run away from here, okay? So that's very subtly, this happening in a lot of enterprise company. I cannot say any name here, but I say this in a company, say, okay, you are in the EVEX 55 and you're doing this? Hard stuff. But this is something that can be avoided. And our platform is intended to avoid this type of architecture. So what if we think in another approach, event-driven approach? Using platform events, for example, We can just integrate real-time across any business processes. Okay, this is not only about data. It's data, processes. You can continue the processing between the different systems. You can perform that the workflows we connected with a bus that are in the middle, and this bus will be connected to the different system. We are changing from the spaghetti structure to a lasagna structure, based in layer. Okay, I love Italian food, by the way. So this means that this type of structure can really simplify a lot of this enterprise architecture, and more important, is scalable in the future. That is the main point. At the beginning, only beautiful, but in coming years, that is when a real good architecture can support that pass of the time. Okay, so. The platform events is built from in the REST API. It's a implementation of the REST API using commit ID. That is a way to implement this platform event. And this can be really be implemented not only from code, of course can be used in code, you can use it in a declarative way. You can create a platform event just like a regular object. You create an event, you put the fields that you want to use, and then you want to select when you want to trigger it. Okay? Even that, you can use it on flows and process builder to subscribe and publish that events. Okay? That's help a lot you to implement that type of integration without any need of code. Okay? And again, you can customize the payload whatever you want. Okay? So doing this, we can move it from this type of pseudo-spaghetti structure to something more decoupled model, a robust model, and a scalable model when you can use systems like the Salesforce Event Bus or any platform that we see there left there after to drive all this type of integration, okay, in a good way. So what is chain data capture in this all mix? Chain data capture is a pretty new feature that we implemented. It's based over platform events, and the only thing that chain data capture does is to simplify the trigger and the exposition for this event for when account or any object is doing a change, a DML operation, update, insert, delete, and delete, okay? It's supporting all custom objects that you have and the majority of the standard objects. Some exotic objects like Pressbook 2 and this type of stuff is not supported at the moment, maybe in roadmap. But still, we can almost do everything. For the standard one, you can do it. So they can really be very, very scalable with millions of events daily. So they can support a very high volume of events for your system. They can help for 72 hours to prevent data loss. So for any reason, the other part of the bus is not hearing the publish of this event will be kept in the system and will be retrieved for 72 hours. So this, you have a very good accuracy about the data that is sent. And more important, you can do this without code. We see in the demo that it's so easy to activate a feature like that. Okay? So go to start to mix sound. Mulesoft Anypoint Platform. One platform to rule them all. So what is Mulesoft? Mulesoft is a company that we buy 2 years ago, 2 years and a half. It was a city before us, and it was connected any platform, any application in that and any device. We also have about 450, if I don't mistake, connectors that are pre-built. That means that you can connect almost everything. Okay, any on-premise system, any cloud system, everything. Even that, any Mulesoft Anypoint Platform can be deployed on-premise too, inside the firewall, behind the firewall of your customer, and connected with the system that you cannot expose outside. And Mulesoft will be taking care to expose to the outside. This is an approach that can be possible too. And more important, the main concept of Mulesoft is the reusability of the APIs. You develop and create the API one time. And then you can reuse that piece every time you want in all your projects. So that's the core of Mulesoft. It's called Exchange. It's similar to the concept of App Exchange, when you can create a managed package and publish in the App Exchange. Same concept, but for API. So, using this approach, we can do this easily discoverable That means that a business user will be able to build an integration for something that a developer really pre-built. It's the same concept that when we afford a process builder or report that don't need any code knowledge about to perform this operation. That's the same stuff. You have a person that is developing that API, that integration, and it's just drag and drop the pieces and connect the dots. So that's the beautiful part of our Mulesoft for the business point of view, okay? And the IV development that I talked before. So Mulesoft is working, this is the lasagna, the layer architecture. So they have 3 different layers of type of APIs. The bottom one is the system API. Sorry about the line, I don't know why it's there. The system API is the APIs that are connecting data source. Okay, it's directly reading and writing the information from the data source. You can have their Salesforce, ACP, other sources. FedEx is in the example for an outside data source that are connected there. So all these data source will be at the bottom, all these APIs will be at the bottom, connecting to all these data source. Over that, you have the process API. A process API can be, for example, see the order status, or create an order, or see the shipment status. So each of these API can, for example, connect several system API to collect the data from different data sources and expose in a single way to perform that process. Okay? So in that way you can encapsulate and be transparent about how many data sources. I don't care if the information for the order is in SAP, in Oracle, or whatever. I don't care. I attach an API for order status, and the system will be connected, all the system that will be necessary for that. Okay? And over there, over the process API, you have the experience API. So the experience API is an API that are focused for a specific experience of the user interface. So for example, you have a mobile, a native application that you develop in iOS. You will be connected to a specific API that we expose in all the methods that need that application to connect to all of them. So this will be the more top of the connection that you can connect several processes to a specific experience. That can be desktop, mobile, or whatever. Okay? Good. So now we have clear about events. We have Anypoint Platform. Go to building the Megazord now. Mixing chain data capture and Mulesoft Anypoint. So what is an example to connect that point? We told that Salesforce chain data capture is just a generation of platform events. Every time that I create or edit an account, for example, we'll be publishing an event that they will be in the bus. Mulesoft, of course, can be another way, have a connector for that channel that will be publishing the chain data capture. And we'll be hearing and listening any chain that happened in Salesforce. This means that any chain that happened in Salesforce in the chain data capture will be getting to Mulesoft. And then, with the powerful of all connectors and the transformation, you can do everything you want to all systems. So a single chain in account can be, in real-time moment, replicated in 3 different systems, and even transformation that information to adapt to any of that system. So imagine that if I create an account, I am interested to save 4 fields for Oracle, 2 fields for SAP, and 1 field for Workday, but before that I need to do a query to an external system, and then complement that information and push into Workday. All this can be orchestrated from Mulesoft in real time. Okay? Just to imagine what is the powerful about Mulesoft is you can afford with just 1 core of the cloud, you can afford between 2,000, 3,000 operations per second. Okay? So we are talking about very, very high volume events. So this is for an enterprise scale. Of course, you need more and less, you can buy the basic package. But even that is prepared for enterprise environments. Okay? So the other sample that I did for account, just another example. So you create a contact in Salesforce, okay? New contact in Salesforce. The contact data is published to the event bus, is in chain data capture. Mulesoft subscribes using the pre-built connector, no code, you will see in the demo. And then in Mulesoft, you can do all transformation to publish to the different database and keep the data updated. In my experience, a typical approach from a lot of customers is about using ETLs. So, I mean, you perform a lot of changes in different systems, and then you have a batch process at night that are taking that information and doing a heavy process to upload and transform this information. Our approach in Mulesoft is totally different. We are looking for a real-time integration. We want to run away about the ETL, about the batch processes. Because when you're working that way, you don't need to worry about to have a night asynchronization batch, because you are really synchronized at the same moment that the record and the event happen. So that's the main difference. Okay? And this is our approach. Good. So that's the Megasort. There it is. So that's an example mixing more pieces, okay? But really the platform event logic is over here. So in the left side, we have Salesforce with a platform event. Additionally, we have our external object, or Lightning Connect, using OData that probably several people knows. So there's an architecture when you can not only publish that chain, you can hear about that chain too, using other pieces. So for example, you connect event bus using the OData connector that are in Salesforce, and then we publish all the information to other systems. I put a piece here about Roku. That using a Roku Connect, you can do a work in different ways. You can synchronize rows, or you can expose that rows using OData without replicate that information using the Lightning Connect too. Okay? So you can do a beautiful architecture like this that you can use, for example, Roku for archiving or a data lake that is a typical point of view, and you have the other system in the right side. And from the point of view of Salesforce, I don't care what is in the other side. I can just talk to Mulesoft. And Mulesoft will care about how to replicate and how they need to transform the data. Okay? Ready to see some action? Yeah? Good? Do you believe all the stuff that I told? It's true, huh? It is. I promise. I'm from Salesforce, I can't lie. So this will be my demo architecture, okay? Salesforce, platform events, we chain data capture, easy, okay? Connecting to Mulesoft to the change, and then I'm going to push that information in real time to our Roku database built in ClearDB MySQL. Okay? Simple. I cannot do a cathedral here, but it will be enough to see that. I'm going to do this from scratch, all connection. Okay? So let's go that. That's the part that all can fail, but don't worry, I tried it. So this will be my environment, okay? So the first thing that you need to do here is to configure chain data capture. This will be the more hard part of the demo. So wish me luck, please. Okay. So I need to do here, chain data capture. Okay. I will try no mistake. So I want to activate the functionality from the account, put the account and select the entity safe. Okay, done. I did. So this is how hard it is for chain data capture. It's just selecting the entity, and this will work. That's all we take care about the holding, about the all email operation. So really this doing a publishing, automatic publishing in the platform events. So if I go to platform events very quickly, you will see this one pre-generated record CDC. This one is auto-generated by the chain data capture, and all chain that happen for all entities that I push in there will be moving here. Okay? I have a specific channel for each entity, and I can use that, you can use directly the CDC channel to hear about all entities that you publish. Okay? But I'm going to use the specific entity at this time. Good. So those are really here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to prepare my project in Mulesoft. Okay, so I'm going to do a new project from scratch. I'm going to create a new application. I'm going to call this dreamOlé demo. CDC. Create. Okay, so even that the system, Mulesoft, is going to start to asking me about like a wizard, okay, to see what is the trigger and what is the endpoint of that. So the trigger I'm going to select is Salesforce connector. And I go to select operation about replace channel. That is the one operation that is going to listen the published events that are in the chain data capture site. The target will be a database connector in the Heroku, and I go to perform an insert. Okay? Oops, sorry. And that's done. So now configuration start here. I'm going to connect my Salesforce OR for the first time. Of course, a good approach is to use an alt jot or alt SAML, but because for simplify, I'm going to use my deprecated username password method to log in. But please don't do that if you pure that real implementation. So sdo.com, SVDC. Okay. Working on Ailo, what's your problem, man? Okay. I don't know why he not tell me to test this. Should we work? Ah, okay. It's shitting me. Don't worry. Stent is unsuccessful. Wi-Fi? Yes. Okay, text successful. Don't worry. Okay. Good. So the first we need to prepare this theme channel. Okay. So I go to prepare data to be account. This is the name of the object. Record. Change. Replay option. This 3-1. For the reply. Okay. I have a problem here with the sum. Okay. That's better. Good. And to be connected, I'm going to configure the database in the other side. Okay. So let me to do the connection here. There will be a MySQL connection. So there will be the host. I have here T36C. Yeah, that's the user. No, that's really the password. User, password, and the database. Good. Test. Save. Okay. Now I'm going to put here the query. Here, 6. No. I have all my shortcuts working. Okay. And we can add the payload after. So, you need to check one stuff here. Okay. So change event. What appear here? DLL demo. Chain event. Record chain. Perfect. I love my memory. It doesn't need to be exactly like this, okay? Because this is the auto-generated CDC event that it publishes in the system, okay? So I go to run this application, and I go here, an account. I'm going to create a new account. To note that I still don't do the mapping, okay? So this is going to get the record I changed, but I still don't transfer to Roku. But I want to do that to get the payload and then do the mapping. I'm going to do it after that. So give me to create a new account. So the dreamOlé demo, real, enterprise, whatever, here, a website, by Mulesoft.com, something, whatever, right? And you need to check, this is running, that's okay. Save. Okay. So it's all working in the output, good. This is the output of the event that are generated, okay? So because this is an insert, all fields happen here. It's changing that the capture is pretty smart about the field that is sending in the event. So if you're doing an update, it's going to send just the header and the fields are changed, okay? And it's not sending everything, okay? That's to be reduce the payload for the volume, okay? So the thing I'm going to do is to copy this, because here in the transfer database, that is the mapping between the both worlds, the Roku database and Salesforce. I'm going to use this output like a schema to do the connection. So I go to put the schema here. I go to save. And in the other side, I'm going to use a pretty simple schema. I don't want to get all information. So I'm going to get just a couple of fields. So I'm going to use this schema, pretty simple, the name, the phone, the website, and the ID, okay? So I don't care about all this happening on the other side. I only go to leave those fields, okay? I'm going to save this. Now, that's the more funny part, that are doing the mapping. So I'm going to take the name over here. I'm going to take the phone number over here. I'm going to take the website. It should be over here. Help me to say that. Here. And the ID that's happening here. Take it, don't worry. Okay, good. So now it's all mapping. Okay, you can see the preview, okay? It's using the preview information from the other side, and this is the output after the transformation, okay? This all pretty visual, okay? So what is the last part here that I need to do? Is to map in this variable that I put here in my query. I need to get it for the output payload from the transformation side. So the only thing I need to do here is to add the parameters. So I go to call this ID, and then I'm going to put here the payload .id. I need to put exactly, this is case sensitive, okay? So I need to do the same thing for the name, getting from the payload, put name, good. The phone, payload, phone, and the website. Payload. No. Okay. Payload. Put website. See that it's pretty smart about the payload recommendation. I write website, but say it does not exist, but you have website. Okay, that can help you to detect what is the variable to use the payload. Okay, that's all done. Okay, so I go to run this. This is my database of Heroku. Okay, they have 4 records right now. I'm going to do a select right now to see that it's working. It's still 4. Okay, that's okay because I ran the connection. And I go to create a new account. And this all, if I did good, we have a new record here. And then I need applause for that. So go, this is start application, go to start the account, new account here. So new account, so the account name will be drums, please. Okay. Enterprise, whatever. And buy Mulesoft, please.com. It's a great URL. That's awesome. So, okay, if I go here, that's the new output. That's getting good. That's the transfer with the input and the output with only the field that I mapped. Good. And in the other part, I have the input. Good. And the output is one affected row. Looks good. Sell it. You are. So just from scratch, don't tweak, it's all GA available. You can pay outside the door for Mulesoft with the TPV, we say American Express Visa, or whatever. Don't care. I hope that you like this. Any question right now is the moment, so I'll be glad to answer you that question. Yes?
You said that all the connections are secure in Mulesoft. I would like to know how secure in this case, because, for example, I tried to do an application for some clients using Mulesoft, and we needed to encrypt all the data. We use the cryptography module that they're using, but they're using PGP. Bouncy Castle. Bouncy Castle is not using MDC signature and is getting too many risks for the clients. Also, we discover that, for example, in the security, in this case, when we read using SFTP, it's corrupting the PGP files. And I would like to know if you know a solution for all this.
I love these questions. I cannot answer that at the moment. I don't really Mulesoft expert from that point. I know that it's different type of security. For that one is the TLS security. For you can do a two-way certification using HTTPS, all that part. But you're talking about a specific connection for the SFTP that I can just talk with my coworkers. After that, the door, stop me, give me the card, and we will talk about it. Sorry, don't be answering that. That will be easy one, I know. Another more easy question? Paulina? I am afraid.
So I would like to ask about Mulesoft system errors, like how Mulesoft handle connection errors, synchronization errors, and so.
Good. So Mulesoft have their own system about logs, so you can debug all connection that happen between the different systems. You see that I see the output and the inputs and the output of the system. All this is logged in a history, so you can perform notifications about fails based on rules that you perform. So you say, if I get this response, then, for example, send me an email or put information here. You can use the same power of Mulesoft to automate all the error generated. Additionally to all the health, all the retweets, all the orchestration. But here, this is solve a lot of problem about orchestrate the error handle. I like that one.
Hi. I've got a question about external objects. I think you mentioned in one of the first slides that you could use, or you alluded to external objects for visualizing data. I was wondering how Mulesoft fits in that picture. So, in for example, if I've got SAP exposing data, how would Mulesoft, what would we do that on top of that?
That's a good question. So SAP, for example, can expose data, can expose all data using a SAP gateway, for example, okay? But the point of view, the better approach to use Salesforce with the all data connector is you abstract about what is in the other side. So if I want to read an account, the credit information from an account, and imagine that part of the information is in SAP BW, because in aggregation, and other part is in the R3, in the classical database. So just connecting the all data connector in Mulesoft, you can expose that information in a single way, and Mulesoft will take care to connect all different data APIs in just one side. So it's an abstraction. And I don't care about what is the data. I don't care if a version of SAP is upgraded for S3 to S4. I don't care about that. I connect it just to the all data connector in Mulesoft, and the other stuff is another problem, another CTO problem, but not a problem from the point of view of Salesforce and the connection. Good. So we are more than time. Thank you so much for your time to attending, and it was my pleasure to stay here with you.